Welcome to another episode of 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes. I'm Jason Holcomb, joined as always by the coach. Coach, couldn't ask for a purtier senior night. Had the great send-in from the paratroopers. The Silver Wings came in, brought the game ball, and then we took it and ran with it.
Well, that's a good way to look at it, Jay. We did play really well in all facets of the game the other night. Crosstown rival, region foe, actually kind of playing for a second or a third or a fourth playoff spot, depending on how the game turned out. We kind of jumped on them early, and it just kind of snowballed from there. Big halftime lead, running clock in the second half, and so couldn't have been much better for a senior night, no doubt.
No, and I was so happy because I saw so many of our seniors playing a major part in whether it was blocking, scoring touchdowns, whatever it was. Yep. And I know that had to make you happy.
Well, it does when you can spread it around. I think 8 different guys may have scored the other night. It was huge. It was a complete effort on both sides of the football. A couple of our seniors that are backups who don't always get a lot of reps got to play a lot the other night. I saw big smiles on their faces, and that's huge.
Yep, there are smiles all over the stadium. We want to see whose complete game was worth recognition as our Optim Player of the Week. All right, Coach. Drew's one of those guys that just grinds. He gets after it. He's just a gentleman in my mind. Every time I'm around him, he's just such a polite guy, but then he gets out there and works. I know that has to make you excited.
Well, probably one of the most complete football players we have, in the sense that he's always mentally prepared. He works very hard to be physically prepared. A great team person. Whatever you ask him to do, he's going to give it to the best of your ability. He's a fairly physical football player, but he's also very cerebral, which all that together has allowed him to be one of our top players. He graded out over 90% the other night in the game, and that's based off an average of 3 different parts of the game. It's assignment, execution, and effort, and he graded in the low 90s the other night, and that's kind of unheard of.
That's awesome. I just enjoy him, and want to thank our friends at Optim for giving us the chance every single week to celebrate one of our players, and more importantly, to be there on the sidelines for us when we have an injury, which thankfully I'm just knock on wood, not going to say it. Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on, Coach, because we have a big task ahead of us. We're going to Swainsboro to play a Tiger team that just came off a tough loss against Bleckley County, and so now we're fighting for playoff position with the Tigers. What do we need to do?
Well, a win makes us 2, a loss makes us 3. It puts us, we'll still all be in the same quadrant down there in the same 8-team bracket. So, for us, we've got to play as well as we've played all year, because I think it's probably the best team we've played this year. But that's not a knock on Bleckley County, because they won the region outright, and Bleckley County's right there. It was a 21-20 game. I just think Swainsboro has so many weapons that can put a knife through you on any snap, and so we're going to have to play our best football game of the year. But I think it's a night where, for us, it helps us again, hopefully prepare in a situation like we talk about, because they're one of the top teams in the state going into the state playoffs. It'll be a situation for us to really evaluate where we are, and with one more week to go before the playoffs start.
Yes, sir. And important thing that people don't realize, if you're not familiar with it, this is one of our oldest rivals. I think it might be our oldest rival overall. So this is a game that was going to be a big game regardless of the playoff implications. And that's why we need you guys to head to Swainsboro this Friday. Kickoff is 7:30. We want to make sure that our side of the stadium is full so that we can celebrate the Irish and hopefully celebrate another Irish win. Next week, we'll be back talking, hopefully with a number 2 seed in a home playoff game. Regardless, we're going to be here next week because we're in the playoffs. So that's the important thing, right?
We're there.
Well, be sure to check us out every Tuesday on 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes.